right, we are back. Back to the making of a game. Alright, so let's see, we fixed the signal connection issues. We fixed some things, right? We fixed some things. It's a true statement. Okay, let's go back to here. I wanted to change the score label. Oh yeah, maybe fix the errors that we were getting before by using call deferred, which I've never used before. So maybe I did it right, maybe I didn't. Hold on, placeholder. Let's see. Horizontal alignment center, yeah. Theme, override, font size, a little bigger. I don't know, maybe 50. Okay. Oh, I have a script. Let's see, attach script. For the buttons. That's in my UI button.gd. That's gonna give it some behavior. Our tween stuff, so we'll keep that. Why not? Can I change sizing, horizontal shrink sensor? Yeah, that's better. Theme overrides, colors constants. Actually, maybe on the VBox, can we get some separation? There we go. Let's try that out. Okay, new game. We got a score. Let's just let it lives go. When we get to the game over. Final score 20. Back to main menu. Still doesn't work. Why doesn't it work? Also that script. How does the script work? We do resize, so we scale the button. Oh yeah, something about pivot offset. Okay, so I mean this is like the least important thing ever, but you know, let's see if I can figure out why that's behaving that way. When it scales. Tween duration, tween scale, or behavior, like things we got from the script. Let's just put this. I don't like that though. I want it to be like that. No, this might not. You know, let's just let's ditch the script. While I'm here though, can I do something about the padding of the button? Is it? No, it's not. Oh, I see. It's because I set the this the shrink center, rather than occupying the full width, because I don't want it to occupy the full width. I could use a different like container layout, I guess. But another thing I could do is I could just set a minimum here that will bump things up a bit. Okay, control does whole numbers. Good to know. There you go. Okay, that's better. But why is clicking the button not doing anything? we should focus on that, right? On main menu button pressed. Emits, what is this? Emits the param signal by name. The signal must exist. Well, I don't know. That's not how we do things here. We do return to menu.emit. Let's print. So we just see that is being called at all. And let's try again. Okay, we have a score. Now let's die. Oh, we leveled up. All right. All right, one life left. Game over. Final score 80. Back to main menu. Back to main menu. Does nothing. Does nothing. Huh. That's interesting. Why is that? Button pressed. We didn't print, so it didn't get called for a reason. Main menu button on here is that button. Is there something that we need to do? Like normally there's a thing that you would do where you do on ready with the target. So is that something? Can you combine? No. Those aren't combinable. Right, so if I pass a node like a button via this variable, does that work or no? All right, well, it took us a while, but let's look at some Godot docs. Let's see. Best practices. I don't like that phrase, by the way. I like good practice. Because best is contextual. It's saying good, it's a baked-in acknowledgement of the fact that what's good in one circumstance is not necessarily good in a different circumstance. When and how to avoid using nodes for everything, yes? Scene organization, autoload versus regular nodes. Let me just try some Googling. So, Godot, export var node ready. Oh, hey, look, when I tried export on ready something, I think that simply export var node should work. Yes. Probably blow this up a little bit to be legible on stream, although there's not a lot here. Export var is nil in ready function from recently. Order Godot load scenes and scene tree from top. bottom might be health bars. Now I'm loaded with health capacity. Adding. Should work. What is the value? I mean, you would think that if there was an issue with the main menu button not being ready, that this would be not defined. Would we get an error here? Oh, I'm being silly. You know, I'm really being silly here because you know what we can do? Rather than trying to script that, like everything within this scene, we can just manually connect up, right? So all we have to do is go to this node and we select pressed, and then we say, hey, find the method. There you go. Okay, and connect. And done. Right? So connect the signal that way. Like within the scope of just this scene, because it's like all the nodes are kind of static. It's just much easier to do that than anything else. Okay, so that should fix that, hopefully. Let's run it and find out. Okay, new game. We have a score. Let's let the game end. Oops, we progress to the next level. I will add some more bricks so this is a little bit more interesting. There we go. Game over. Final score 50. Brainless, you still here? Hello. You're sipping on something, maybe? Return to main menu. It still doesn't work. Still doesn't work. Why not? We got a debugger error. Signal press is already connected. Oh, I didn't save this file. That'd be why. Menu? Okay, let's just restart. Make sure everything is saved. And try again. Yeah, I was playing Balatro on the other monitor. I've heard of it. I don't think I've honestly actually seen it. It's like it's a card game, no? The most I know about Balatro is the one person that was in chat a few weeks ago that was like, hey, use the shader that was from Balatro. Not this shader that I'm using for the background, but the one we had before. All right, final score 50. Return to main menu. Still doesn't work. What could it mean? Look, I have a signal on main menu button pressed. We can go to script on main menu button pressed, print. So why doesn't it work? Oh, is it because the game is paused? It's because the game is paused. Hold on. So everything in here should be in the mode always. Shouldn't be affected by the game being paused. That's the problem. And Brainless said, I didn't like it when I first saw it. Same as with Power World. It was like, not my cup of tea, now I am hooked. Aha. Gotta give things a chance. Oops. That did not work out the way I wanted. Let's get at least the score. I wish I had a little bit more control of... It feels like I don't have as much control. It may just be using the mouse. Okay, game over. Final score 20. Back to main menu. Yeah, it works. All right. New game. And we start over. We have 3 lives. The score is 0. I wonder if there's some of the like we're definitely getting some some amounts of reaction in the direction of the ball based on the direction of the paddle, but I wonder if the logic is affected by it being horizontal versus vertical. guess I could go check that really quick. Where is that logic? Is that's in the ball, right? Random direction. Excuse me. Physics process. Oh yeah, no, it's not in the ball because it's in the thing we collide with, which is the paddle, which in this case is the player. Oh, I didn't implement that in this game. Maybe. Let's see. Control P. Ball. On ball collision. On the brick, we have on ball collision. To have the behavior where we change the trajectory of the ball, that needs to happen on player. Let's go find our other project on game. We can look at what the code was that we used. Was that scripts? It was in paddle, right? On ball collision. So let's borrow this. I'm gonna add this. And so we're interested in the X velocity for the paddle velocity influence. And then we get the ball's velocity, its speed rather, and then we I see, we add whatever the vector is and we normalize it and then put the original speed back on it. Okay, that's fine. Is there a way to just get the X component of the velocity vector as a vector? What is from angle? Interesting. Normalize the 0 prox length lerp. Max, move, normalize, orthogonal, pause. I mean, it's easy enough. I mean, we can get X and Y. What we want to do is we want to do vector 2. Yeah, we want to do that. Oh, I know what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking in the shader logic, the shader, like the Godot shaders that I've seen and some of the tutorials I've been looking at. There's ways where you can pluck like a sub vector from a vector by just doing like asking for some of its components. Anyway, let's get back to this. And now we should be able to influence the direction of the ball based on the velocity of the directionality of the paddle. Now, am I going to be able to demonstrate that? I honestly probably should just hide the paddle and the ball when we're in that loading. Yeah, there you go. I was able to impart some direction. That's what I was missing. Oops, I missed. Game over. Very... I mean, I won, right? I got all the things. I don't know that I want to have a separate signal for like win versus not. Let's take a look. Let's see. Screen. Okay, so we still need to do that stuff, and maybe we'll have time to do some of that. Let's take a look at Game Manager. All right, so in Game Manager, we also emit game over. Do I want to make it so that it's like, maybe I just pass a Boolean? It's like, hey, game over, but like game one versus having separate signals. Like there's probably things I want to have happen in both scenarios. So I think what I want to do is I'm going to make this so that this is, see, how do we do this? player 1. This is also where I could have potentially passed in the player's score into here. Instead of having a separate player last score. But it's fine. So for game over, this is false. And for player 1, this is true. And then we can get rid of that print there. And these extra comments are unnecessary. So in main.gd, we hook onto the signal. And so we need to have this signature match the signature of the signal. At least that's probably a good idea. And then I guess we potentially have multiple scenes, right? Here's the thing, right? We could have 2 different scenes, one for like you got this score versus a different scene that's like, oh wow, you won, amazing. Or we could do something where we like say game over node dot player 1 equals player 1 dot player equals player 1. And then in game over for player 1, and then do something like, here's what we do. We say if player 1, you win, final score, else we don't say you win. Basically. And then is this going to work? So when we call instantiate, does that cause the ready function to be called? Or does that happen later? Or if I do at export, like this, does that allow me to say game over scene dot something? Nope. Can I pass anything to instantiate? Nope. Like, I'm just trying to figure out how I can communicate. Let's do some research. Godot node instantiate node at underscore ready. Nodes and scene instances. Tell me more. Creating nodes. Do that. If I am instancing scenes, scenes are templates from which you can create as many reproductions as you like. It's called instancing. We can create the instance of a loaded packed scene resource, which is what we're doing. When we do that, it doesn't tell us. Okay, and that's just this. Okay, that's not so helpful. Passing variables into an instance node to use in ready. You could have just done it in the parent instead. Seen adding a child to the parent. Nope. No, they're not trying to do the thing that I'm trying to do. this will tell me what I want to know. I just want to understand the relationship of like the scene being instantiated with the nodes underscore ready method being called. Multiple times from player instance middle. Yep. Yeah, I could just put a print statement in and try it, but I would just why is it the first thing about well, because this is just a tutorial. Nodes, node paths, instancing with signals, pausing. Oh well, yeah, I guess I'll just try it because it doesn't seem obvious from the structure of the documentation where I would find the answer to my question. So, let's remove the @export. Does it matter? What does @export do besides making it show up in the editor? Don't know. I guess to know, I need to do like a print, like this. And then what I want to know is that, let's see, print, and then print. I don't actually care what what is being printed here. I just need to like know the order of events. All right, so let's play this and see what happens. New game. That was fun. And I'm not even trying to like win. There we go. Okay, so here's what happened. Game over, player 1 equals false. Game over node, game over screen ready, game over node added to root. Okay, so ready wasn't called until after multiple things. Right, so the print here for ready happened after both of these things, right? So presumably ready isn't called until it's added to the tree, which maybe something in here tells me that, but yeah, okay. Now I think I know. I think I know. And that means this should be fine, right? So whatever player 1 is, true or false, will get set. I guess the remaining thing is hopefully player 1 here is actually the value that's being passed in from here. To really test that, I guess we have to win. Okay, well that was easy. Oops. Look, using keyboard is awkward. Game over, you win. Final score 90. Okay, we see it. It happens. And we can get rid of that other print. There we go. Save that. And then game over. This should be centered as well. Yeah. But it wasn't. Okay. Well, anyway, it's fine. What is the debugger? Player 1, error calling signal, game over to callable. Okay, so there's somewhere that is handling game over that's not accepting that argument. So where? Here we go. On game over, it's supposed to be taking player 1. There you go. We don't actually care about that there, but we'll get a warning apparently if we're not accepting the argument. So that makes sense. And that's there. Okay, cool. All right. So I don't think we're gonna have enough time today necessarily to finish all of these things. But let's see. Screen to enter initial, screen to show high scores. We could just have the high scores. Where though? Maybe in Game Manager. It's already an auto load. We could have. I guess it can be an export just to be able to see it in the editor. Let's see. How do I want to do this? Can we do something like this? Nested type collections are not supported. Good to know. Okay, so we can't say, oh, it's a dictionary of this shape, but we can say it's an array of dictionary. Or I could create a different class. Can I? Let's see here. Hey, Godot docs. I have so many of these tabs. I should. Is this? Yeah, GD script basics. Here we go. Classes. Yeah, by default, all script files are unnamed classes. Registering named classes by saying class name. You can do various things. Inner classes. So inside of an existing GD script file, I can make a different class and use that. So I don't have to make a separate script because this would be something that's not really going to be useful anywhere else. So then we could do something like class score. Nope. Colon. And then var score var initials. And then this type can just be an array of score. Export type can only be built in a resource, a node, or an enum. So no, I can't do that. What I would need to do, oh, wait. Can't I just like extends resource? Yeah. Ta-da. All right. And so then in here on, oh, I can't see that node anyway, right? Because, well, I could. Let's check this out. So if I run the game, now in the remote tree, there is a game manager which I can click, and then I can see the members of that node. Because it's an auto load, it's not in the tree locally when the game's not running, but we can see it here, right? And we could imagine adding an element. Although I guess we can't do that in a running program, which is too bad. Imagine the fun. Constant. Yep. Things. Let's see. Is this editable here? Can I add an element? Oh, I can add elements. Interesting. And then we create a new probably can't create inline unless I would have saved that class. Like there's probably not a new score. I would have needed to save that as a separate GDScript file. It's not sorted alphabetically, so I'm assuming that it would have been next to level, which is the resource I defined elsewhere. Anyway, so let's stop this. And I guess what we can do initially is, what do we want to do here? What do we want to do? Let's make a function that will load the high scores. And for now, what that's going to do, it's going to be a placeholder. We're probably just going to put in some values. And then we'll add some logic to update high scores based on what happens on the end screen, at the game over screen. So what we'll do is we'll say high scores equals okay, apparently that's not the right syntax. Who knew? So let's go to the GD reference. So if we have, okay, do class name dot new. Okay, new. Is there a way to call new and pass parameters? Yes. Aha, with init. Person class with a static variable named max ID. We increment max ID in the init function. Is that the only time? So there are 11 matches. The only time where they're passing an argument. So I guess if I want to do this, I need to provide oh right, not def. What is this, Python? And then it's just like that. Cool. Oh yeah, it shadows it. Sure. There, you happy now? All right, cool. And I mean, this doesn't. Well, one, it doesn't do anything because we're not calling it, but we can definitely call it load high scores. Yep. The idea will be that we will read from a file, something that will have that information. I guess. What I might do is I might create like a high scores resource. No, because that's not going to persist the right way. I'll probably do this. Okay, so when we end the game, we can't just add the player's score to the high score list. We want them to enter their initials and submit. Added to the high scores list to, you know, give that arcade vibe, right? That's the idea. So we'll provide a function that can be called from elsewhere. Func add high score. That's fine. What does resize actually do? It sets the array's number of elements to param size. If it's smaller than the current size, elements in the end are removed. Okay, nice. Okay. Custom sort. Sort in descending order. I could believe this is accurate. Function to add the likely called from the game over scene. Just as a note for future me, since I don't think we're going to be able to wrap this up today, but we'll have this function to be called from there. Hey, Vivax, how's it going? Okay, add high score. So we'll call that from game over. Do I want to make a function here? Like, we're going to need a function that's going to determine whether or not the player was in the top 10 list, like their score was high enough. So rather than having the game over scene, like grab the high scores and like do that logic there, let's just provide a function here. Is player eligible for high scores? So if there are less than 10, then yes. Otherwise, the player's score, or no, the player last score is greater than the lowest high score. Greater than or equal to? Yeah, well, we'll say greater than or equal to. And then let's implement a function that's going to do nothing for right now called save high scores to save out. And then what we'll do is every time we change the high score list, we will save it out. There we go. So let's add a big to do here for implement this. There we go. So we'll have saving and loading logic at some point to really consider that complete. Yeah, I think that's fine. And then we do need a scene as well to show the high scores, and a way to get to that scene from the main menu. And probably what we'll do is, if you were eligible to add to the high scores, we will, like, you'll be able to enter your initials and click in, and then it'll take you to that screen, and then you can return to the main menu from that screen. Feels right. Okay. So, here's where we're at so far. Let's see. New game. Did I have music? Hold on, let's go back here. Audio. I do have that. I don't think I added a soundtrack to this yet, which is fine. Maybe I will at some point. Oops. Ooh, that's it's gonna take a little time. The keyboard controls are a little awkward. Maybe I should have spent some time on being able to control the paddle with the mouse. Boop, boop. There we go. Game over. You won. Final score 70. All right. I guess we have a few minutes before I need to wrap up. So let's take a look at our level. let's maybe make this a little bit more interesting. Let's see, how do we do this? I guess we can just like duplicate and then move. Duplicate and move. Amazing. Duplicate and move some more. Let's see, which one is which? Right. And then where's the, it's Q. Let's switch to that tool. Okay, this one and this one, and was it that one? No. This one. Oh, apparently control does that. That'd be fun. Okay, so this one, this one, this one. Problem is it selects the sprite. Is there a way to control what nodes are eligible to be? Oh, interesting. Show list. Ah, interesting. So what if I... Hold on. Okay. Oh, I see. But I can't do a box select with that tool. Okay. Good to know. View. Gizmos is interesting. Preview theme, grid, show helpers. Okay. Well, anyway, I guess if I select, oh, but I can't select the brick. Whatever. I'll just duplicate one at a time. Whoops. What did I just do? Alright. Duplicate and move. Duplicate and move. Alright. And hey, look, we have a grid. And save that. And then level 2. If I just collapse these, then is that selecting? No, okay, it's only selecting. Okay, that'll be our ticket then. Do something weird. Is there a fold all here somewhere? Oh, we can filter by type. Let's filter by type of brick. Huh. Is that not... Oh, they're static body 2Ds. Right, we didn't make a custom type, right? Okay, that's fine. So then, Control A does not do what I want it to do. I guess I can do this, and then this. We can do something weird. Alright, cool. Save that, and then what does this all look like? Like a bunch of cyan, right? Oh, right. I have to tell it the number of bricks there are in a level for this to work right. Which seems like not so great. I wonder... At least it doesn't make a lot of sense right now, right? Because the only thing there are the only nodes in the level are the bricks that we're breaking. But if I had other things in the level, then I wouldn't necessarily want to count everything. I could do some things, but I just decided that what I was going to do is I was going to have a resource file, and I was going to have the info, which means, well, this is easy, right? I just need to look at what the brick number goes to. It goes to 16, so there are 16 bricks in level 2. So if I go over to this, set this to 16. There we go. And level 1 has 15 bricks. I'm gonna believe. So in level 1, say 15. And you can see this in action. This may get wild because the ball does accelerate after every collision. And it's not really capped either. That might be a thing to tweak. Oops. Oh boy. Got a real horizontal angle going on for that ball. Okay. Anyway, it's something. Let's just commit everything. There we go. Source control. What did we do today? We changed some signals around. We added some stuff around high scores. Added a bunch of logic for the level manager. We hooked up the game manager to kind of the game over logic on the main node. Let's just... Okay, it doesn't want to click. What's going on here? Generate message with Copilot does not seem to want to operate today. That's not so great. Okay, well, progress from Twitch stream on 2025. Well, let's just say May 4th. Oh, is it May 4th? All right, and push that up. All right. So that's in our Godot Breakout clone project on GitHub. There we go. All pushed up. So I think that's going to be it. I need to go see about getting some lunch. So thanks so much for coming and hanging on the stream today. It's nice to have some company as I try to figure out how Godot works. And we'll find someone to raid really quick if you want to stick around for that. Yeah, you have a great day as well, Brainless. Appreciate you